Hello, everybody. How's it going? I am Alexandra.
And I'm Erica.
And this is Chasing Me Podcast.
Yeah, we decided to, maybe a background on how this kind of came about was, as you'll find out, the relationship Alex and I have typically is revolved around Alex convincing me to do things as we're drinking. She gets me out. She gets me a couple of drinks in, and then she asks me to do something. And that thing we are doing right now. Somehow she got me to say yes to starting a podcast with her as we were having some nice wine, and we were just doing a wine tasting. But this is our life.
That's somewhat of a welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. I might convince her all the time to do crazy things, but I am so excited to bring all of you on our journey of chasing me. To me, this really is and embodies a video like history of just recognizing our past, understanding exactly what it is that we were once chasing, knowing and seeing how that evolved to what we're chasing currently, and then potentially what it is in the future that we will eventually say that we have chased and we've accomplished. For me, right now, one of those things is this. I have said this for so long that I wanted to.
She has. She really has.
Yeah. I'm very excited to bring you on our journey, and I'm so excited to hear all of Erica's thoughts because honestly, truly, she is such a wonderful, wonderful person, friend, if I could be so bold, family member.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I would adopt you.
But I would love to know exactly what chasing me means to you because clearly everyone already knows what it means to me. So,
well, the name Chasing Me, again, back to that fun wine evening, I tend to go on these, I'm going to call them emotional rants, and it's where I have a thought bubble, and I kind of just let this thought bubble run me for like 5-10 minutes, give or take. And that's how, I didn't even say anything. Alex said nothing the entire time, and then she's like, chasing me, because historically I've always been someone who, and even Victoria, another one of my really good friends, we went to a concert on Thursday evening, and it's a Saturday today, just for reference, on Thursday. And I kind of was explaining to her like what I'm wanting to like do and, explore next in my life. And she's like, you know what? You always seem to be dissatisfied with where you're at in your life. And I was like, you know what? Knowing that we were going to do this, I was like, oh, that's a great intro. And I was like, but it's true. Like I've spent the last, I want to say like 4 or 5 years in this endless desire to have something more, or I felt like I was missing something out in my life. And I think I'm at a point, honestly, like I've listened, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of like, I would call them like mentors. And then, you listen to people on YouTube and you listen to these influential people. Not even like, I don't really follow a lot of like celebrity influencers. It's more just like, public speakers and, business people, things like that.
Yeah.
And like motivational, like Jay Shetty is one of my favorite people to listen to. And I think, and I've consumed so much of that content over the last like a couple years, and I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I'm done with consuming the content and I'm ready to act on the content. Cause like me in those emotional thought bubbles that I have, I just run myself around in circles, and I'm ready to get out of that, like this like endless loop that I've been in. So for me, chasing me is about kind of getting out of that endless loop and starting acting on some of those things. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm going to be honest, like as much as I don't typically, I'm going on another little thought bubble right here, but typically it is, I feel like am constantly dissatisfied because I don't want to commit myself to something that I know potentially won't drive a passion, or like it won't become something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I realize is that by me not doing anything, I'm still wasting my time. So like I could have been into something that started off as just like a fun hobby, but turns into a passion project. I could be 4 years into something. I did have my small business, which that's a whole nother podcast probably.
Stay tuned. I'm sure I'll bring it up.
That's a whole nother world of Erica. But I closed down a small business of mine here recently that I've had for a couple years, and it definitely, I don't want to say that was like a good example, but yeah. So I'm done being in this endless loop. I'm ready to kind of pick a couple things in my life that I want to focus on. And then at that point, you just kind of go with it and see where it leads you, and not being afraid to like change your mind later. Cause like we all feel like we can't change our minds later on in life, but we can.
I love that. So I think that really is what embodies what we're going to be talking about quite a bit, if you would love to listen to us, which we hope you do, because honestly, I think if we can be an example, or at least share and maybe inspire a few people, that really is going to make a big difference for at least me, I know, in my life, because that's all I ever want, is to really inspire and bring other people passion and help others. So I think for the both of us, it's going to be a fun, as she mentioned, passion project at first. And even if it's only our family that listens, thank you, fam.
Yes,
we love you.
I was super nervous. Alex, I almost bailed this morning. I did. I called her. I was like, I texted her. I'm like, so let's do this tomorrow. Like, it's
this
raining.
Girl.
It's
I got
raining.
Everything set up. She doesn't do it. She doesn't do anything.
But then I called her back. I was like, no, let's just do it. That's that. I'm a little, I can get a little emotional.
It's okay. We all get in our head, which is another reason and another little like tidbit I think that's going to go well into future episodes of like, how do we get out of that? Like, how do we get out of those mindsets? How does that affect us chasing our goals, chasing our dreams, or even just doing and chasing the day to day? Like, how do you get out of those ruts? And just little conversations about probably things that you've heard other people say. A lot of people that are influencers talk about, and like, how does social media affect making you more motivated, less motivated, or any of those types of daily impacts that are just subconscious now. I would love to like deep dive eventually into some of that, because I think that has played, as like social media has grown, a big, big role into why I've been more fearful to do things. And
I'm curious. I think a lot of people are in the same position that I am. It's like when you go to like a conference, even if it's like business related, you go to this conference, you get all motivated. I'm going to make my sales goals or do something. Yeah. And then you come home and it's like, where does that go? Where does that like hit of motivation or drive or, inspiration from this person fade off into? And it's like, yeah, that's a big one. And I think social media has, because it's not just like a conference that you go to, or it's not an event that you're like signing up for. It's a part of your daily life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's kind of frightening. But,
I think that there's checks and balances with all of it, right? And that's the main thing, is making sure you're aware and making sure you have people around you and you surround yourself with people that are also aware, because it's easy to fall into patterns that aren't healthy, especially with social media or things like that, if you don't feel support in your life, or, but I feel like at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, like you said, it's like either your grit or your motivation or your drive, and what exactly it is that keeps you motivated, whether it's your friends, a passion project, a wonderful goal that you have, or like an actual career where you're going back to school, getting further educated. Like, there's so many different paths. It's so hard now I feel like to choose. Whereas before it seemed very like before social media, you didn't know that like all of these paths, unless like you were in a circle of that, or your family was like, you would really have to search for it. And now it's at your fingertips that you can always get like that FOMO, I would say, of like, well, I'm going to miss out, right? Like if I don't do that, I'm going to miss out. And then you just kind of get a stalemate where you don't do anything because you're like in this mindset of, oh, well, I want to do it all.
Yeah, but there is something I feel like also to feeling like you have to choose. That's one of my topics. I like wrote down, well, I think I
Nice.
in our we have a shared like notes thing. And I think I wrote that down where it's like, why do I have to be this or that? Like, why can't I be both? Yeah, of course, like don't spread yourself too thin. You can't do everything. You physically can't do everything in life. Like, you only have so many hours in the day, like you want to fill them with what matters most to you, probably something that makes you money, but like, why does that have to be like the driver of the thing you spend the most time on? Mm-hmm. Or like, why can't I try two different things? So like, that's an interesting, we could go probably down a rabbit hole in that one too. So
I think these are good tidbits. A little teaser into your future if you want to listen to us.
Is there anything additional, Alex, you wanted to add besides, you gave a little bit of like why you kind of wanted to start, but like, I feel like there's more there.
You want more.
I want more from you.
She wants more from me. Of course she does. I think Chasing Me, I was trying to keep it concise and short because for me, it really is. It's like, I think I've always had a persona of when I was young, who I thought I was going to be, what I thought I was going to do. And I paid all the rules when I was young. I never got like I never rebelled. I never tried to do anything too crazy. So
not even an inkling?
Not really. I didn't drink till I was 21. So
that is true. She didn't.
Yeah.
I was there that first night.
Yes. So, I had a lot of conviction of staying on the path and doing the right things and like all of this. And then I think going through what I have gone through in my past, things could just change. And it's so interesting to see the new me I chase, whether that's each year, each season of life. And I think that there's always some consistent thread of the person that I really am within that. But I think that allowing myself to watch this back, to listen to us, and hear me say it to myself is going to be an very interesting thing. Because I don't listen to myself. I just talk to other people and then it goes away. So
that is the one thing that I think where my nerves came from is the fact that one of the things, and I think that's the fact that like where the nerves came from was that this, as much as we wanted Chasing Me to be like a Alex and Erica share with each other, like what we normally do on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. This is now going to be out in the universe, which makes me nervous. Like, I'm not someone that posts hardly anything. My sister can vouch for this. She's always asking me to post more on social media. She's like, I never know what you're up to. And I'm like,
give us the content.
I'm like, I'm sorry. So for me to go from like 0 to now this.
I heard from somebody that right now you are in your like most peak self, because of the fact that, we are at our most wise stage in age.
Wait, can you go a little bit into when you say are you saying we're at our peak self?
Yeah, like people who are in their 30s, like our age.
I mean, I don't feel like I've peaked, but.
No. But as far as like wisdom, okay, so you have to hear me out. Their thought process.
I'll let you finish.
Their thought process around this was that when you're 30, you have more wisdom than you did when you were in your 20s.
True.
When you're 40, you don't have the same ability and sustainability within like keeping up physically or like maybe mental strength or things along those lines. So like your 30s, like younger 30s. Like you still have the like momentum that you want.
Okay.
And you have the ability to still absorb so much and be like flexible with what the world is bringing into the world, like what new things are coming into the world. So
you're still at like your most wise but
prime.
adaptable state.
Yeah, you're at your prime. So this is our peak, according to this person.
That's what everybody says. Oh, your 30s are the best. Oh, your 40s are the best. I'm just kidding.
I think each age, I will say that the wiser that you get is what I'm realizing, that it really does make a difference. And I don't think I would have ever said that in my 20s, even at like 26, 27, 28. Like, I think I was like, no, it's all about fun. What are you talking about? Like everyone's so serious. Like, I just didn't understand. And in the last few years, I don't know if it's whether I'm just getting old and my awareness is more keen, or if it really is just that like
we're not getting old.
I'm not. I'm actually not. Benjamin Button. I'm aging backwards. So
I always say we're way far away from 50, but they say at 50 you start counting backwards.
I think at the end of the day, though, like getting out of our comfort zone is something that I haven't done in so long. That I'm excited to do it, especially with you, because you are my comfort zone, which is crazy. So like this, even though this is crazy, it's not that crazy because I know that like I'm so comfortable with you.
It's less crazy that we're like with you sitting there. It's less crazy.
Yeah.
Which we're like, maybe after like 20 episodes, you'll understand more of the dynamic between us. But I feel like that'll start to you'll start to understand.
Yes, definitely. You'll see that I kind of make Erica do things, as she mentioned, that she doesn't necessarily like want to do. I hope that stories just don't come pouring out of you of like, well, I remember a time. Like, that's not.
I mean, I'll try to keep. I know you'll want to hear the stories. I'll try to keep them to an unembarrassing minimum, but I think I do think it's just our dynamic of and maybe especially over the last couple of years, like I was talking about how I've been in this like loop for like the 4 or 5 years, and as much as I've been in that, I feel like Alex understands a different side of me, that she's like, I know you're like, she accepts me always for who I am in whatever season I'm going through at my current moment, but she's like, I know deep down you would enjoy this. So like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you're having fun. And obviously that's one of the biggest qualities I love about her, is that she gets me to do things that I would have probably done like a season of Erica ago, but I've forgotten that. And I think that's also something I'm chasing. It's like, I need to get back to my true self. Cause I feel like I've been in this like facade of a self for a while.
No. So here's the thing. I don't think that you've been in a facade. I think that it's so easy to only look either to the future or only look to the past, that it's so hard for us to be present, but doing it simultaneously, like doing it both at the same time. And I think that's what hopefully this conversation between us will be able to like kind of unravel, as well as maybe engaging with the people that want to listen to this and like see what other people really do for themselves. Because I'm always so inspired by social media, despite the fact that it sometimes is a hinder on my mental state and my life. I think that seeing other people and how they're, even though it's maybe like the highlight reel, how motivated they are to do the things that they love, I find that to be so interesting. Because, like, I think I've told this to you, but I think that the key in life is just being able to make a decision and stick with it and have conviction about it. Like, I think that is life.
Yeah.
And knowing this, it's like some like my mind was like, oh. What?
Making a decision is sometimes the hardest point, because we think we can't change our minds. Again, I think I said that before. It's like, or if I didn't, I'm going to say it now. It's like, we think we can't change our minds. Like, go at something like you said, like with conviction and everything that you have, but don't feel like because you chose that path, that is what now defines you forever and ever. It's like you can find a new conviction, you know?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's so crazy because it's like it really was like an epiphany that I think I had either like end of last year or this year. Actually, it's probably last year because
End of last year?
No, just last year in general because we did a vision board at the beginning of last year where I put a lot of travel down. And for the longest time in my life, I really wanted to travel more.
She
and
only talked about traveling. Well,
Only.
she still does, let's be honest.
Of course, it's another
never gonna change.
a whole different conversation and a whole different goal. But I think that with the vision board and with my intent being more like, you know what, I spend my money elsewhere. Like I might as well just do it. Like what is the worst that can happen? Like you'll figure it out. And making that decision throughout last year, the multiple times I did do it,
Multiple times. You were gone. Like, I couldn't keep up with her. I needed her like a Google Calendar because I could never tell if she was in LA or if she was in like Portugal or something.
I mean, if only. I still don't think it was quite enough for my liking, which is crazy. But yeah, it's always just more in your mind. If you get out of your mind, if you just start doing things, it will work out if you're willing to work for it.
You can make things happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to tell my sister this too. There's a couple things that we always, and I never mean to be like a broken record, but you know, sisters, we're always, you know, trying to be as,
Hi, Em, by the way. Love you.
We're not trying to be honest. We are too honest with each other, usually. Sisters, that's just how you are. And it's like, sometimes getting out of your way is like the biggest hurdle. Getting out of your own way is like the biggest hurdle.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
yeah, I'm looking forward to this experience and seeing what hurdles we can get out of our own ways.
I think it'll be great. It's going to be great to look back on. It's going to be great to like go through on a weekly basis with you and be able to really like set aside like intentional time to really think about this. And I think that's another big thing that we'll probably walk through later on. So stay tuned and listen in, is really intentions. Because, I mean, without them, it's so easy to just watch TV, do nothing, wait for life to kind of fall in your lap. And I did it for many of years. So I do know.
I've been down my recent rabbit hole. So trying to claw my way out of it.
But I think we're both doing great. And I'm very excited to share this journey with you and with you.
Yes.
If you're watching, this is a video podcast if you're not. And we appreciate you for tuning in. We will be posting on multiple platforms. And so I'll have Erica let you know where you can find us.
Yeah. So obviously like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apple Music, and then Instagram, and then the notorious TikTok.
Yes.
Alex is going to get us a TikTok account.
I
will not dance. Even though I can dance, I will not.
You never know. Enough requests, enough likes. Who knows what will happen? But thank you again. We appreciate anybody who wants to take the time to listen and hang out with us.
Yeah.
And you'll see us and hear from us next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.